Ladies and gentlemen, we are I repeat, 3 days away from Apple's event, the Time Flies event. And what's an event that we're expecting that they'll be releasing some new products, possibly an iPad, possibly the new series of the Apple Watch. But with that being said, we have noticed that every single day it seems like there is some new report or some new news about Apple that is coming out. There was a report that did just come out recently. It was a little survey basically that went into depth about people who are buying iPhones, what exactly we could expect from those of the people who are consumers in the smartphone market. So with that being said, we are going to be going over that today. If you guys do enjoy this video, do not forget to smash that like button. My last two videos have been going absolutely off the walls. Both of those are being about Apple stock, so I want to make sure we keep this going. We're going to keep you guys updated because it seems like you are actually interested in see what exactly is going on with Apple. So I'll happily be that guy who will keep you guys updated. If you do like the channel and you do like my content, do not forget to subscribe. Drop a comment if you want to see anything, any future videos or anything that you would like to see me do an analysis on or a review on. I have a couple app reviews coming out soon, so hopefully you guys do enjoy those. But with all that being said, let's get into it and let's check out exactly what this new data is about. So to understand the importance of this data and how much people think that this may affect the stock itself, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at exactly the price target that Bard analyst William Power just put out. So if we do go ahead and we take a look, William Power raised his price target from $109 to $133. That is a very, very significant jump. So let's take a dive. Let's see exactly what's going on and why did he raise his price target from $109 up $24 to $133. So Bard went ahead and they held a survey in September of 2020, only a few days ago. And basically we're asking consumers for the smartphone market exactly how they felt about iPhones and asked them different questions and what their plans with their own personal smartphones were. So based on the survey, they do say that 60% of consumers who do intend on buying a smartphone actually plan on buying an iPhone. Now, that is almost record level for Apple right now. Their record is 62% based on the last survey, and that puts them at 60%, considering their last survey was the 62% was a few years ago. It's been lower than that recently, meaning that the interest in the iPhone is actually growing, and those are the people who do plan on buying iPhone or buying smartphones, plan on buying iPhones. The fact that that's growing, especially in a market where it seems like Apple iPhones, just the cost of them just goes up and up and up, is very important and it's very significant. Now, if you have watched my videos, you do know that I have been all about just talking constantly about how hype affects these stocks. Just the more publicity these companies are getting, the better off it seems that they're doing. And I feel like that does come true to Apple as well, because Apple has been having so many different news lines, not all of them good, they did have the lawsuit and everything, but the majority of them being good. And I feel like that is serving its purpose to getting Apple's name out and relevant again to these smartphone consumers. Now, one thing that they did note on the survey is that they do believe that this number is going to increase simply for the fact that with all of these things going on in the world and so many people being stuck at home, that the need for higher connectivity is becoming more and more, meaning more people need better internet. So we do believe that Apple's next phones will be 5G compatible. Now this is very, very significant simply for the fact that people are going to need that better connection. Now how does this, play in and how does this tie into people wanting to buy iPhones and that number going up? Now the fact that Apple has not released their new iPhone and has not just fully committed to the fact that it's going to be 5G, which is pretty much out there at this point, but that means not everyone knows that it's going to be 5G compatible. I do believe that once they finally start to put out the new products and they start to announce these 5G compatible iPhones, that the interest in people buying iPhones is going to go up even further, which could then possibly raise that 60% up to the 65-70%, which could be record numbers for Apple. So definitely keep an eye out. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out to see once these iPhones do become, get announced, to see how the interest in people actually buying these iPhones and making these upgrades does grow. Now, one interesting statistic from the survey does say that 38% of the respondents to the survey said that their phones were over 3 years old. Now, if you do have an iPhone, you do know, and if you did watch all the stuff that happened with Apple, that the older your phone gets, the slower it gets. This is not a day and age for people to have slow phones. People need to be kept up to speed, and especially with 5G coming out, people are going to want that better connection. Now, the reason I find that significant is that with 38% of people's, phones being over 3 to 4 years old, that means that their upgrade cycle is probably coming soon. They're probably going to start to find need to upgrade very, very soon. And I think that this is the perfect time for people to want to make that move simply for the fact that there are new 5G compatible phones right on the brink. So we can once again keep an eye on that and pay attention very closely to see how the upgrade numbers do start to grow, because I truly believe that people who have those 3 to 4 year old phones are going to want to get these new, better phones. And especially now that iPhone's starting to make some of these phones a little bit, more price efficient and not cost so much for the consumer. So once again, that is very, very good news. Even though that's a little bit more speculative, it is very good news knowing that some people's phones are older and that the upgrades should be coming soon. Now, another statistic that came from this survey said that 14% of people who were surveyed said that a new iPhone that featured 5G capabilities would interest them into actually committing to buying an iPhone. Meaning these are people who really don't really care for Apple, or they have a smartphone that may be outside of Apple. And they're saying that if Apple makes a phone that's, compatible and capable of holding this 5G connection, that they'd be interested in switching over or buying an iPhone. Now, it's almost clear as daylight that Apple's next phones should have 5G connections. So that means that the market in which they are appealing to is then, or should then, going to grow maybe possibly over 10% simply for the fact that these phones are going to have better connection. That is very, very interesting because you think of how many people in the world have iPhones, but there's a good bit of people who don't. And so whenever you see that 14% of people who were surveyed said that if iPhone came out with one that's capable of 5G, that they'd be interested in buying one, definitely shows how well this new 5G cycle coming up in a few months here could benefit Apple for sure. The next statistic that came out of this survey says that 40% of people who use an Apple device actually use 3. Now this number has climbed from 21% to 40% over the last year, meaning that people might have Apple TV, MacBook, and an iPhone, or AirPods, Apple Watch, iPhone, something along those lines, where they have 3 devices. Now that speaks for Apple because that means that they're creating an ecosystem. They're creating an entire environment in which they can appeal to the needs or the multiple needs of humans. Oh, you need a watch, you need headphones, you need a TV, you need some connection, you need a phone, you need a tablet, boom, got you. They can do all of these things. And it shows that once people kind of get hooked on one thing, they want a little bit more Apple. Or, oh, my MacBook's so good, I got to get an iPhone. Well, I don't want to really get a Samsung TV, I'm Apple TV. And it shows that they chain these things together. And that has been clearly visualized from their statistics and the growth of their, wearables, home accessories. All of those branches of their business have seen tremendous growth over the last year. So that obviously is a very good statistic, and that shows that they're starting to branch out and not be so one-dimensional, because I have spoke about it in previous videos. We don't want to see Apple solely focus on the iPhone because there are going to be years in which the iPhone's growth slows. But in those years that the iPhone growth slows, we're seeing these wearables, homes, and accessories start to grow and start to pick up the slack from these lacking iPhones, and that's a very, very, very important key feature to the growth of Apple in the future. Now, they did note at the end of the survey that Apple is trading at record highs, of course, and that they're trading 30.8 times Power's expected earnings per share for 2021. They did note that they truly believe that with the upcoming cycle of 5G and all of the revamps and remodels of a lot of its new products and this new line of brand new products that they intend on releasing, from tablets to phones to new earbuds to the new Apple Home to the new iPhones, actually 4 different models of iPhones, to the MacBook, to all of these different products they want to release, they believe that this current market is predicting the future of Apple. And we do know that the market, it takes a look at what we're expecting to see in the future. And they truly believe that these values, though maybe a tad pricey, are very fair. And so that is a very, very good cherry on top whenever it comes to this report. And it truly makes me feel personally, as an investor, that I have my money in the right place. Apple has been an overall amazing stock for the last couple months, and I truly believe that although it may be up and it may be down, and we might be having a buying opportunity, little dip right now, that for the next couple years, for decades to come, in my opinion, that we will see very, very exponential growth from Apple. The company overall is growing at an amazing rate. They're doing so many things and establishing themselves as a consumer staple and one of the strongest companies, businesses, and brands on the face of earth. So if you are watching this video and if you do want to take, or you want my opinion on how I feel about Apple, I truly believe that it's a buy. I will continue to shovel thousands of dollars into Apple every single chance that I get. If you do want to take a look at some of my other reasonings behind it, I did a little bit more of an analysis on it in my last 2 videos, so definitely go check it out. If you did enjoy this video, and if you stuck around to the end, let me know in the comment section. Drop a pizza emoji if you're on an iPhone, or just drop me a smiley face if you're on a computer. I love knowing you guys watched this far into the videos. But with that being said, I will be releasing a couple videos this week, maybe one a little bit before Apple's event. We'll definitely see how that goes. But I will see you guys next time. Peace.